Hello, fellow humans. I'm your captain, red_space girl, and welcome to my, well, it's not exactly a ship yet. We're working on it. Just, give me a minute. I mean, if you really want a cool ship, maybe somebody should like and subscribe. Anyways, what's up? Red here, and if you're anything like me and really into art videos on YouTube, you've seen tons of videos where people redesign their OCs. I am not immune to propaganda, so I'm here to, guess what, redesign my OCs a bit. I'm not very good at this, am I? I really want to talk about their stories because it's something I've been working on. It's been a small passion project for the last few years, really. And they keep getting redesigned, and I think these are the designs I'm sticking with, so I'm pretty happy about it. I've had the first two since, I would say, somewhere around 2020, 2021. This is your reminder that was 5 years ago. I've been working on their stories for the past few years now, really actually trying to develop them, and I don't know, it's been something I've enjoyed, and I'm excited to get to share it with more people. Yay! Anyways, on with the video. I think before I can really explain anything about the characters themselves, I should probably explain the setting. So Briarville is a small town, I would say somewhere in Oregon, USA. But despite being, pretty old, it's very unpopular. I wrote on my unveil a while ago, quote, Briarville has its fair share of historic buildings and beautiful forests nearby. Despite the many attractions, the town is not particularly appealing. Tourists interested in the history of the area, or even just visiting family, tend to feel on edge or simply just bad vibes, citing this as their reason to not return. The locals just roll their eyes, but maybe they've just gotten used to it. This brings us to our main character, Michael. Full name Michael Miyagi. He is an amateur ghost hunter. He says he's always felt a connection to the supernatural. Does anyone around him believe that? Who's to say, really? He's easily spooked and a bit of a coward, so despite wanting to be a ghost hunter so bad, he's pretty bad at the job. He has a good handful of negative character traits because, any teenager has a good handful of negative character traits. I know when I was in any of high school, I had all the negative character traits, but every time I write it out, it feels like that one. I hate the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way that you dress. But, this is the type of guy to cover his eyes during horror movies. He is that bad. I just realized that part of my setup has fallen over. Video paused. A thumbtack has probably fallen out and is going to poke me in the butt. That would be why my acoustics sounded so bad. I'm not restarting this. His, what could be described as cowardice, however, has made him, very cautious. So, north of Briarville, there is a forest. Unsurprisingly called the Northern Forest. I am not original. However, locals call it Lost Man's Forest. Guess why? People go missing all the time, but legend has it, back in the town's heyday, people would go missing in the forest practically every other day. Again, is this true? Who's to say, really? However, only a handful of years to the main story, Michael's older sister Lexi disappeared into those very woods, along with a small group of her friends. The difference was they actually came back, though refused to tell anyone exactly what happened. Lost Man's is sort of a lost cause to Michael, though. Despite, the infamy, you'd think he'd want to, explore it a ton, but he hasn't been able to, nor is he sure he wants to, really. Michael's particularly superstitious, plus the caution tape surrounding the forest, the neighbors warning stupid teenagers away. It'd be difficult to sneak in without waiting till nightfall, and Michael is, at the very least, not a horror movie character. He's not that stupid. This kills Michael's nosy self, but he decided he didn't mind. Briarville was still surrounded by creepy forests and creepier old buildings to explore. At least, he thought he'd moved on, and that he didn't mind. Until one morning. Ooh, ominous. That's where the story begins. Whoa. So to talk about like the actual design a little bit, I wanted him to lean more cryptid core, you know, like bros in the forest. Wow. But I also wanted to keep his design simple on top of like the blue color coding, and so I don't really know if I hit the nail on the head with the whole cryptid core thing. He has a few little eyes on his design along with some little moons. I thought the eyes were fun, just as a nod to his overall perceptiveness and also hatred of people watching him. Ironic, yeah. While the moons are there because he thinks of himself as the moon to his friend Flo's star. You know, kind of like the classic, oh, one's bright and fun and the other is shady and... Shady? I don't know about shady, like calm, yes. I find this kind of funny though, because I'd argue it's the other way around. Of course, Michael wouldn't want to be the star that's the center of attention, but then again, he always ends up right in the center, doesn't he? Anyways, there's Michael, yay, yay!
What just happened? Sorry. But, I guess you already have a date to homecoming.
Next up is Flo, but before we talk about them, I'd like to speak a little bit about today's sponsor, me. I don't know if you could tell, but this is my first YouTube video, like, ever. I plan on making an upload schedule. I'm thinking every other Saturday. Either way, if you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, pretty please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, comment even. My commissions are eternally open, and I just dropped the prices, so if you have some spare money, feel free to throw it at me. I would be incredibly grateful. I know the world is scary for artists right now more than ever, with the whole rise of AI and so many other things, so even a small bit of support would mean the world to me. And now, back to the video. Woot woot! Oh, I should put this disclaimer here. All of these character designs are not set in stone, nor is what I say about the characters. If I change something about their personality or design in like a year or even a week from now, like that, yeah, it's bound to happen. I'm in the middle of working on a story. Things are bound to change. Flo moved to Briarville around the age of like 9 after an incident involving their dad. They rarely bring it up, and Michael hasn't really cared to ask. The two met on a rainy night by the river in the western forest. Very dramatic meeting. Being friends with Michael has meant a great deal to Flo, so when they decided to ditch their dead name, something water-related felt like the right way to go. Flo has a similar drive to explore as Michael, but they aren't as easily spooked as he is. They'd occasionally bring up exploring Lost Man's, but Michael would shut down the idea nearly immediately. The inability to explore the northern forest actually hasn't eaten at them as much as it has Michael, though. They've been okay with revisiting some of the old places, even though the thrill of revisiting them isn't as great as going there the first time. Personality-wise, Flo is very energetic. They're pretty much bouncing off the walls at the idea of doing anything they're interested in. They're pretty good with other people's emotions, but not so much with their own. The classic bottle type deal, if you know what I mean. We love a good bottle over here. Flo loves science and math, which means they're the ghost skeptic to Michael's ghost believer. Outside of ghost hunting, though, Flo enjoys skateboarding and riding their bike. I imagine their bike and skateboard are covered in stickers and all sorts of fun stuff. They definitely know all sorts of tricks. Dude, they can definitely do an ollie. Oh my gosh. I've tried to learn how to do an ollie. They're so hard, okay? It's been years. Whatever. I don't even care. They also customize a lot of their own clothes, so a lot of the stuff they wear is thrifted. Wow. I imagine the little shorts that they're wearing, like that lace they added on. I think that's super cute. They also patched up Michael's sweatshirt, and I would imagine his pants as well, as a surprise for his 16th birthday, because I think that'd be so cute. Design-wise, they are just so purple to me. Would it have made sense for them to be blue, given the river? Yeah. But purple is just them. I don't know, man. Like, sometimes when I'm designing a character, they just kind of lean over and whisper into my ear what color, and I'm like, yeah, you are purple, you're so right. And then I do a double take because who just whispered in my ear and they're not there anymore, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's normal. Faye and Michael do, in fact, also have matching friendship bracelets, and that's kind of everything to me. I think the only thing I don't like is I leaned into the star thing so hard, but that's really just in the drawing in the bottom left-hand corner, not the main reference, so whatever. Overall, though, I'm very happy with this. They just look like a teen, living life and such. So cutesies.
Not the time? Yeah, dude. I knew it! I knew you were in there fighting! I tried to tell them! I told them all! You were there! Pete Judge! Let's fucking get him!
Okay, for this third character, I have like a whole, I wouldn't say short story, but like a little blurb written out, and I kind of dig this actually. Okay, let me get a dramatic voice on. Most everyone in Briarville knows little Elanor Bowen, especially the elderly population. She's kind and polite, the type of girl that makes parents turn to their own kids and ask, why can't you be more like her? She's clever, she's good with plants, she dresses nicely. However, these are all baseline observations. Elanor is the type of girl you know of, not someone you'd call a close friend. You do not know Elanor Bowen, and that's what she wants. I'm realizing this has made Elanor sound kind of evil, so she's not. However, she is very secretive. My knee-jerk reaction as the writer to the story is to be equally secretive about her, as to not tell you too much too quickly. But I doubt it would be interesting if we just sat here in silence for 5 whole minutes, so I am willing to peel back just a few of Eleanor's layers, because I think she's super freaking cool. Okay, so to explain my thought process as I'm kind of making things up, I think of this story as one of those iceberg tier lists, I guess. Mikey and Flo, and of course the readers, start at the tip of the iceberg. They know a small bit about the setting, the 2 main characters, but then going lower on the iceberg marks a deeper understanding of the lore and Briarville and what resides in its forest. If Mikey and Flo are at tier 1, Elanor is just below them, at tier 2. Why? Well, it turns out there are a few things in the northern forest. Namely, monsters. And Elanor is a monster hunter. Ooh. There's no sort of like coalition of monster hunters or anything, and honestly, despite it being the best title for what she does, Elanor resents the name. She doesn't think it should have a title. It shouldn't be a job. But right now, she's the only one trained to do it. No one knows that she's a monster hunter, and I feel the need to make this clear. Everyone knows her, but they don't know what she does. You know? I think this secretive nature is something that becomes a bit of a problem when she's forced to be around Flo and Michael, because they want to know more. They want to help her. They want to know about her. But she refuses to give them anything, even though more information might be more likely to help them than hurt them. Though with those two, it's 50-50. Drawing-wise, Elanor has ended up with both the best design and my least favorite art so far this video. As you can see, I'm making little ref sheets with little facial expressions and everything. However, I'm not really a fan of how some of her expressions turned out. I don't know, just not a fan. However, I think her design is pretty good. It's pretty simple, very preppy. She's green, like plants, because she loves plants. It just works for me. I originally got the character idea for her from this green raincoat I have, so I had to include that in the bottom left image. I actually think I've included it in most of her designs. Maybe not, but at least a good few. But I don't know. I like her. She's so cute.
But I'm not gonna invade her privacy like that. Would you?
You! I am never speaking to you again.
Look, we're all exhausted and terrified. Let's focus our energy on helping Luce instead of fighting each other.
So I guess that's all I have. I didn't really write this part because I haven't finished the script yet, really. Honestly, I'm just gonna freeball it for the OCs, like just yapping about them, because I know I could do that for 30 minutes. I'm just gonna have to cut out a lot of likes and buts and ums, but that's usual. So, yeah. I've kind of DIY'd a little bit of a sound booth too, so you can really tell this is an at-home production. I'll put a picture up on screen now. But again, if you would like to support me, please do. I am planning on maybe doing it on Patreon if anyone would be interested. I don't really know how to build interest for that, so I guess like comment if that would be cool or something you're interested in. Shrug emoji. So I'll see you next time. I'm doing the arm rubbing thing that they do in Project Hail Mary, but I can't really do that with a puppet, so just imagine it.